Hey guys, it's early in the morning. Got a load, getting ready to go out to Lewis Barbecue. I'm about to fill this up the whole way, to trailer load the whole way. Got the tractor right there. Got a bucket load already ready. Unfortunately, my lights stopped working on the tractor, which is kind of a bummer. Hopefully it's just a switch or something. But yeah, I was really... Yeah, I got up this morning and I got on the tractor and I was like, oh, the lights don't work. Now I got to look at everything in the dark. Crap. But hey, I mean, it happens. Got up. Actually, I woke up this morning. The kids, they needed a whole bunch of things. And then Laura got up, and so I got out of here, or got out to the yard and started to do some stuff. But yeah, behind me you see there's IBC totes. Gonna get ready to process them down. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and load up and come along for the ride. Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick voiceover. I usually don't talk in videos, but this time I got inspired to do some talking. Kind of just felt in the mood, so enjoy. Bye. It's almost like tree work, hopping around on these things here. Hopefully we don't encounter a copperhead. Sometimes they like to lay in here, which is kind of scary to think about. And I'm not wearing gloves. Not that gloves would help me out, but like, I mean, come on. There's at least that. I mean, at least you feel protected, right? At least you feel protected. I think the reason why people wear gloves a lot of times is they feel protected. And a lot of people have asked me, hey, don't you wear gloves? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I wear gloves, but I don't always wear gloves when I'm doing work, because you know, I'm the kind of guy that likes to feel with my fingers. And so, and my fingers have become accustomed to it, and my hands have become accustomed to it. But I don't tell them that whole story. I just tell them, like, yeah, my hands are used to it, you know. And so yeah, it's kind of like that. But yeah, I'll wear gloves whenever it gets bad. When I get blisters, or when it's just like my hand. If the kids have foot, hand, and mouth. If anybody's familiar, then like if they're sick like that, then yeah, I'm gonna be wearing gloves, you know, like, because with my condition I could feel that, and it's pretty hard. Like I feel it pretty hard. Like anything that they catch, I usually catch. But here lately, I would say I've been feeling much more healthier than the kids, which is a really good thing. So I'm gonna hope that keeps up, you know? There's a, see that wasp? Oh yeah. Yeah, when you're doing firewood, get ready. I've actually killed swarms with just a stick of wood before, because there was not really any way out of it. Just kind of do your thing. But yeah. So it's good to take y'all on for the ride, or I would just be thinking about how my back is hurting. which I could probably think about that whenever I'm driving, but you know, there's always music. There's always something to remedy your pains, usually I've learned in life. And if nothing else, there's just prayer. And I mean, like, if you're really in pain, then man, go see a doctor. Maybe you need medication, you know, like, it's just, I'm not against medication, but whenever I went through my thing, which is still pretty much ongoing, it's just that it's like cured for the most part because of how I structured my diet. But like, whenever I went through my thing, there's nothing that works. I would say, besides the medication that they want to inject you with, which was what I was not taking that, but I would say probably the heaviest narcotic would work. But like, I mean, who's gonna be doing that? Who's willing to take on, I mean, that would just destroy your body even further at the end. So I mean, you know, you can't really do that. Piece of wood in there. We didn't get the whole thing. But yeah, as I was saying about like with Crohn's and stuff like that, like, and I mean, a lot of people, they don't research the subject, so they don't really know what they're talking about. And when they ask you to do something, like, you know, sometimes, or they question why you're acting the way that you're acting. Sometimes with a disease like colitis and Crohn's, which I think I was misdiagnosed with colitis only, but I believe I have Crohn's because I have inflammation in my throat, and colitis is only when in the colon. So basically, the things that people misunderstand about this is some days, if your throat is so inflamed, you might not even want to talk. Like, I mean, for me, it's like, well, if I exercise my throat and I could just deal with the pain, if I know it's inflamed, then yeah, I'm gonna be willing to speak. But like, when it's that bad and maybe you've eaten too many things that like affected your body, which would be your fault for not noticing your own diet, but I mean, most people don't want to admit to that, which is a shame. But and I'm not calling anybody out. I mean, I'm calling myself out in the biggest sense. And I mean, really, anybody else who doesn't notice what they're doing to their body. So basically, yeah, on days like that, it's like, guys, maybe it's time for me to just go shut down, you know, somewhere and recuperate when I get to the point to where, and that will make you feel like less of a man, I'll tell you that. If you ever wanted to feel like not a man, go have ulcerative colitis and come back to me and tell me that you are okay with that. Yeah. I think it's gonna be like one more scoop and that's it. Yeah, so back to the subject. Yeah, I know this is like, it's hilarious that I'm talking about ulcerative colitis while I'm doing firewood here, But I mean, I'm just happy I'm able to even do it. So that's the thing. So anyways, like, yeah, so if you ever wanted to feel like less of a man, just go have that disease, have to go to shut down somewhere, like in bed, and then deal with life, and know that people are dealing with life without you, and you're supposed to be there for them. Just go experience that, and then come back to me and tell me that, you know, like, I'm not living right, you know? Like, no, I'm living what I know how to do. I'm doing the things that I know my body will be able to withstand, is what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. So if anybody's out there that wants to judge, go have the disease. And basically, it's not like I'm saying that only God could judge me, but I'm saying that there's definitely a difference between people that have a disease like that, or even any disease, compared to no disease, compared to people that are completely healthy. When you're healthy, you don't really get the scope of the whole, you don't get pain, you don't understand pain that much. So it's like, to be able to withstand pain and have a normal life, you kind of I mean, you do need God. You need prayer, and you need God, and sometimes he's not there just to be like, hey, you know, like, I'll relieve the pain for you, you know. Sometimes he's there to say, hey, you got pain? Well, I have this problem that you're gonna have to deal with right in front of you. So this means that you're gonna have to endure the pain and have the perseverance and the compassion for people, so that way they will not turn away from you. And so that's the gist of the disease, really, because you're gonna have to deal with pain. And well, it's not only pain, it feels like whenever somebody's sucking the life out of you, you know, it's kind of like that. Look at all those ants, man. But yeah, whenever you don't have food in your belly, you can't eat, you feel hungry, and then you're dealing with pain, and you're super tired. Like, I become lethargic. Like, dude, it's no joke. It's no joke at all. Like, that's why people succumb to these medications. They think that there's no other way out, but there is. You just have to withstand for long enough and do the right things for long enough, and your health will come back, for the most part. Hopefully this video is not all over the place with me talking all sorts of stuff about, but just, it's something that's on my mind, you know. Like, some people, I mean, and that's it happens even without diseases, that, you know, like, or conditions. Like, condition's a better term, sounds nicer to say, but yeah, like, it'll happen even without that. People they expect you to do certain things, and it's like, well, you don't understand where I'm coming from, you know. Like, you like, actually don't get it, you know. So it's like, well, how can I expect you to know what the best thing for me is, when basically my entire life I've relied on people to know what, you know, somewhat what's good for me, but then at the end you always find out that it's like, well, it was mainly only for them, you know. And it's not, I'm not hating on anybody, I'm just saying, like, hey, like, I'm kind of done with that, you know. I'm done with basically living other people's motives. And, like, man, this is starting to turn into some kind of a rant. but yeah, it's kind of like that, man. It's kind of like that. It'll be like that, you know. Like, you start to notice when people lead you astray, and it was because of their own human desires. You're like, well, maybe it's time for me. And I mean, I'm not bashing anybody, I'm saying people are always learning, you know. People are always learning, and, you know, as we learn, and I've watched people learn And I've watched people feel ashamed for their actions, but there's some people that don't. And for those people, it's not like I don't have any forgiveness for them, but I don't have a tolerance for them. I don't have the same tolerance, because my lining is gone in my stomach and in my intestine, that like I don't have the same tolerance. I'm sorry. Like, maybe you need to forgive me, you know? Like, I don't have the same thing that I used to have. I don't have that same, hey, happy-go-lucky, let's just do whoop-de-doo and do this and that. I'm like, no, hold on. I got kids. I got a wife. I might not feel well tomorrow after what I do today, right? So, like, hey, everybody's always kind of looking out for themselves. Well, I mean, not everybody, but like, for the most part, the human condition is wired for you to look out for yourself because of survival. And that's getting into evolution and everything, and it's sad. And in the Bible, it does say things like, the ones that rely on their instincts are usually the ones that are doing wrong, something like that. But like, yeah, so it's like stuff like that. When you notice stuff like that and you have a condition like I have, you're like, yeah, it's time to basically just walk away from that situation, right? So yeah, anyways, to load this row up for this customer. That's gonna get a row as well, and yeah, that'll basically end the loading. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Hope you didn't mind the rant. I'm sure many can reflect on the same thing that I'm speaking of. So kind of like, it's not all, and I'm not hating. I'm not a hater. I'm just, I would like to say I'm just more conservative now in some areas, which people may not understand which areas, but sometimes you just gotta listen to what feels right, you know? Just gotta listen to what feels right. And I'm not saying that feelings are always good. Sometimes your feelings will deceive you. Sometimes you won't know why you're doing the things you're doing until later on, and it may have been the wrong choice. So, but you like, if you're still experiencing, like, if you're only in your feelings, per se, then you'll never find the truth, you know? So like, that was a lesson that I had to learn for sure, you know? I mean, you can't only rely on your feelings. You certainly can only rely on the truth. And God is the one, Jesus is the one, the Spirit of truth is the one that will show you. But yeah, I don't want to make this into like some kind of sermon, because I'm not a pastor, but like, I do also understand the same things, and I'm not a pastor, so, but, and I would not say that, I wouldn't say that like I can become a pastor, because, or anybody really in the church. I just understand the same things, you know, and it's just, this is kind of like my testimony in another one, you know, and like it says, like, it says in the Bible that we are like walking letters, and yeah, I mean, like we're basically we're essentially just like walking and talking letters. What we do is what we know. What we say is what we know. We're the letter, we're the testimony of our life. So just kind of wanted to share, I suppose, what I know. But yeah, I guess when some people they don't understand what you know, and I guess if you never tell them what you know, then, and I've also noticed this, when people don't understand what you know and they judge you by the way that you have been in the past, then you're always going to stay in the past. For them, you know, not for yourself. You don't have to engage with those people. You don't have to, you know, if they don't understand you, then you would quite easily walk away. But it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, yeah, unless you tell them, usually I notice in most people, unless you tell them about yourself, then usually they're not gonna, like, they won't know. Because most people, they don't care. They don't care enough to ask, and sometimes they don't, and it's not a bad thing. So, you know, people like privacy, and everybody understands that. And so yeah, they'll never really know about you, and they'll always think, you know, there's a problem within the human condition. That we are wired as men to think that we need to solve a problem. You know, we are wired to think that, and I noticed that, well, within myself. Like I feel wired to solve everything, right? And hey, sometimes you don't need to do that. Sometimes you need to just say, hey, like, this is okay for what it is right now, and we'll come back to it later. But anyways, about to wrap this up. Hopefully the rant was not really too outlandish, and hope you enjoyed the whole video. Hope you enjoyed watching me. I kind of just got inspired to speak, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, glad you stuck around. If you did, leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you on the next one.